Praise Lord! Are you all ready for the next Bible story? Today our story is about God blesses faithful Abraham, based on Genesis chapter 11 verses 27 through 32, chapter 12 and chapter 13. Our memory verse is, "And the Lord shall guide thee continually." Isaiah 58 verse 11. Let's repeat. "And the Lord shall guide thee continually." Isaiah 58 verse 11. Abraham lived in a city called Ur. Abraham loved God, but many of his neighbors who lived in his city did not. They worshipped the moon god and made sacrifices to this god in the temples. "I don't care if they do worship that old moon god that can't hear or see," Abraham said. "The only God I am going to worship is the true God who loves me and takes care of me." One day, Abraham's father Terah said, "We are moving. I'm sure that won't make you unhappy, and I'm glad we can leave this wicked city and go to the place called Canaan." But when they had traveled just halfway, Abraham's father stopped. He said, "We will live here for a while." Abraham obeyed his father and stayed there until his father died. Then God talked to Abraham. He said, "Leave your country behind you and your own people and go to a land I will show you." Abraham did not know where he was supposed to go. God hadn't told him, but Abraham chose to obey. His wife Sarah may have said, "Abraham, are you sure God told you to leave? He at least ought to tell you where we are going and what town we are moving to. Anyway, we like living here." "I don't need to know where I am going," said Abraham. "I do know I trust God and I should obey Him. He promised to bless me and I will become the father of a great nation." Then Abraham said to Sarah, "We must get ready to leave. Pack your things. We will take along my nephew Lot and all our sheep and cattle, and we must take our servants too." Sarah reminded him. What a hurry and scurry there was. Food and clothes were packed on donkeys and camels. Some of the people rode on animals. Some walked along with the cows and sheep, and there were lots of them. Abraham, Sarah, and Lot traveled many days and nights. It was hot and dusty, and they often were very tired. At last, they stopped near a place called Bethel. At different times, Abraham built altars and worshipped God. So this is what he did in Bethel too. Both Abraham and Lot were very wealthy. They had sheep and cattle and many servants. But there were too many animals and not enough pasture. So fights broke out between the herdsmen of Abraham and Lot. "There isn't enough land for your animals and mine," said Abraham. "We are godly men, and I don't want our neighbors who don't love God to see our people fighting. What would they think of us? But I have an idea. Look over there to the east. Now look over there to the west. Choose where you would like to live, and you can have that land. I will take what's left." Abraham was very kind to let his nephew Lot choose first. God had helped Abraham to not be selfish. What land did Lot choose? The land on the east side that was beautiful countryside with lots of water and green grass for his sheep. But he made a mistake. The land he chose was near a very wicked city. Abraham had the land to the west that wasn't green and beautiful, but God had a happy surprise for Abraham. "Look as far as you can see in all directions," God said. "All of this land will someday be yours." So Abraham moved his tent near Hebron, and once again he built an altar to worship God. Abraham wanted to talk to God often so he would remember to do what was right. Abraham learned to love his new land, and he never forgot to talk to God and worship Him. Let's remember, God blesses obedience. We shouldn't let the security and comfort of a present position or home make us miss God's plan for our life.